Hello Year 3 and welcome to Lesson 2 this week of Art Week. And remember, we're going to carry on with our Robin Hood play. And today we're going to create some scenery for Robin to act in. It's important to have a background so that these characters can actually be somewhere. So we're going to create a collage using natural resources. So we'll be looking at using leaves to make our pictures and our scenery as realistic and as lifelike as possible, as if we were really there in Sherwood Forest. Before we do that though, we're going to have a look at comparing and contrasting different pictures, and there's one of the 100 Years' War, and we'll be looking at that as well, and we'll be looking at different styles of pictures and illustrations too. A picture really is worth 1,000 words if you do it properly. So after that, after we've had a look at different styles of pictures, we'll be making a collage scene of Sherwood Forest, and then we'll be taking a picture of your work so that you can use it in a theatre later this week. And by a theatre, I mean in the classroom, but obviously acting out what you've got. And then finally, if we have time, we will write a description of the setting explaining the different styles that we have been able to use. Maybe we'll discuss that. We'll see how far we get with the collage. Okay, take a moment just to write down the date and the LO in your sketchbook, and then when you're ready, we'll unpause and continue the lesson. 3, 2, 1. Okay, there's that introduction again. So today we are making scenery for the play. And what picture do you see on that screen? That's right, it's a big oak tree, and that is where we are going to focus on making later with our collage. Great. You might notice some vocabulary down the bottom here, which will also be very useful as well as we go through the lesson. So the 100 Years' War, what can you see? How are these pictures similar and how are they different? I'll give you a moment, have a think. Okay, well what I would say is that they're showing exactly the same thing. There's a battle, there are two armies against each other, there are bow and arrows, there are lances for the soldiers on horseback, who we call cavalry. There are flags. But what are the differences? Okay, well, I would say that this one is much brighter and this one is much darker. Now, what effect does that have on what we can tell from what the artist was trying to do with these pictures? Well, what I would say is if it's brighter, usually the artists are saying, look at this glorious war on a lovely sunny day, and look at all the colours that they're wearing, and they're all in order, and that's exactly a great picture of war with bravery and people fighting for what they believe in. We've got a castle and a windy road in the background, and the landscape looks like it's untouched and absolutely ideal. But over this side, we've got a black and white soldier being killed by an arrow on the floor. So that's pretty dark. We haven't got a bright sky. All the banners and everything are black. And we've got people aiming bows and arrows at each other. It's a much more different picture. It doesn't look at the battle like it was a good thing at all. And just out of interest, this battle was its picture was of the same battle, which was Agincourt in 1415 in the Middle Ages as well, a bit after Robin Hood. Right. So the 100 Years' War, which is this was a picture of, was fought between England and France and lasted from 1337 to 1453. And that was a picture of Agincourt in 1415, a battle that King Henry V of England, when he became king, he invaded France and he led the British army to win with only 6,000 soldiers against the French's 25,000. So that's probably why this picture here was probably done by an English artist who saw the war as a glorious thing and based it on that battle there. So we've got a bit of a gap fill here. We're going to discuss this. So the pictures are similar because they both show a, and then we're going to use something from the word bank, show a battle with soldiers on different sides. One picture has more colour, which shows that the battle is glorious. Yes, it has a bright sky. This is the one with more colour. The other picture is dark. That's the one that we can see on our screen, and has a soldier killed by an arrow, as we said. This shows that war is bad. Okay. That's right. Now, what can we see in these settings here? One of these pictures is from our Robin Hood reading book. What are the styles that are used? What are the natural features? Pause the video and have a think about those. We'll move on in 3, 2, 1. Well, here's what I put. Oak tree, clear sky, leaves and branches, grass. And that's what we're going to focus on in creating our own collage as our scenery. So here are the steps. We're going to take an A3 piece of paper and turn it landscape and draw a huge oak tree on one side. We're going to draw lines to show the bark of the tree. And that's the first step that I'm going to come to right now. So turn our sheet round this way and look, here are the lines on the tree. So you'll see that and you'll be able to copy it. Once you've drawn your tree, look at the bark and then use lines to show it. Pause the video now and have a try at that. Okay, once you're ready, we'll move on to step 2, which means that we need to find some leaves, which I will provide in class as well, and then we'll rip pieces up, and then we're going to put them in a neat pile on our table, ready to stick to the bottom of our A3 sheet, which I'll show you how that's done in step 3, which we'll move on to in 3, 2, 1. So we'll be sticking the leaves to the bottom of the sheet, just along here, so it surrounds the tree, so it really gives us an idea of an open forest with the tree that Robin and his merry men like to be in. And we'll stick those to the bottom and we'll leave the tree for the moment. We'll be using a glue stick to do that. Step 4, we're going to have to draw the branches, and if we've got any more leaves left, we're going to stick them on the tree as well. So we might have to scrunch them up into little balls so that that tree looks more like a big bushy oak tree with lots of leaves. In step 5, we're also going to have a look at painting a skyline, and we're going to be doing that with a watercolour. So we'll be using a light brush to be able to do that, and a different colour and brush for our tree as well. So we're going to need to use a watercolour to paint over the lines on our bark. So we'll use a different colour and a different brush to do that. Pause the video now to have a try at that. Okay, and that is the last step on our journey. You should be looking at something with leaves at the bottom here, an oak tree on one side with leaves and little scrunched up balls on the outside and branches, and then our skyline, which will be in light blue. Well done, everybody. We have got our scenery ready for our play. See you tomorrow.